legendary.
Oh, snap. How's it going, everybody? I'm surprised you didn't do the golden legendary. It's just so much better. Wow!
Yeah, if you got top 100, I'd give you a golden legendary.
Oh,
anyone can do that.
But I opened the golden Alex Straza, too.
Yeah. Must be nice. The rich get richer.
Oh, absolutely. Welcome, everybody. I am Jim Deathblow Reed, and that is John the Blevins over there.
What up?
You'll notice something a little different today.
Today, we are sponsored by Clorox Wipes. Check out your local grocery store for Clorox. Use the promo code TheBlevins for 5% off. Offer's not real. Please don't try it.
Yeah, Blevins has a new apartment. He, moved in today, slash
Pretty
yesterday.
Much. Yep.
So, congratulations on that. I don't know if you're excited about it or not. We really haven't talked about it. It just kind of happened.
Didn't really have a choice, but I'm happy where I am. And, yeah.
Yeah. And I've reorganized my apartment since it was absolutely disgusting and needed to be cleaned. So I figured the best way to make sure you clean everything is to move every last thing.
True.
So yeah,
that is a good way to do it.
We're on a different wall facing a different direction now. So
yes,
that's.
Oh wow!
Really
yeah, we are. I can well, you're really small on my computer, but yeah, I can kind of tell that you are.
Yeah,
different place
over back here, that's into my kitchen.
Oh, yep,
so
yep. Okay, I see now.
You've been to my place, so I'm just to the right of the window in my living room.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, so a little different setup going on, and as John alluded to, a little humble brag action here. I got myself to Legendary this month. Did it with a combination of decks. I don't really know what got me to rank 5, to be perfectly honest with you. I was just
It never matters.
playing, right? Well, even this month, though, I was playing just all these terrible Priest deck iterations.
That's what I've pretty much been playing, too.
Yeah, because I've got to get Golden Patron, since Patron was the deck that, if you're squint really closely, you can see I was playing here. And I also played a good amount of Control Warrior. That was really good for me from 5 to 3, and then Patron went from 3 to Legend.
You beat Fibonacci in the Control Warrior mirror.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I didn't really know he was a guy.
You didn't even know who he was. Yeah, he's like the guy that Firebat. I mean, this is a few months ago, but when I was watching Firebat's stream, he was like, "Oh yeah, Fibonacci." He's like, "I have a guy for Priest, I have a guy for Hunter, I have a guy for Warrior," and the guy that he goes to for Warrior decks is Fibonacci.
Well, as I'm playing him, I'm making fun of him because obviously he just played the most awkward cards imaginable. I got revenged in that game. And then I'm I made a comment. Somebody actually on Facebook in one of the groups posted a picture of them beating Fibonacci, and I'm like, oh, I got him earlier this week, and I didn't know he was a guy, but I think he was playtesting or something because he had revenge in his deck, and I don't think that that card's terrible, and there was something else bad, I can't remember. And people are like, revenge is a staple in Control Warrior, and I'm like, well, I'm a staple Control Warrior player, and I refuse to play it. Honestly, if it's a staple and everybody's playing it, I would try it, but I still think I'm just gonna play Whirlwind, and I'm not playing a Whirlwind in Control Warrior right now. So maybe if Face Hunter becomes good again, to couple with Zoo being around, I don't know, but right now Face Hunter's not that great. Actually, both iterations of Hunter fell to Tier 2 in the Tempo Storm. What's it called? Meta Snapshot. So it was. I was kind of surprised about that. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. But today on the episode, we have a new segment. John, do you want to kind of tease that a little bit? Let people know what's going on.
Yeah, it's a. It's a game that I'm gonna say that I came up with, but I didn't. I stole it from a popular radio show on NPR, but I doubt anyone watches that. So it's a completely brand new game that has never been made before, where instead of Jim trying to stump the Blevins, I am actually trying to stump him.
Now, to be clear, I'm still going to try to stump the Blevins, and for the third week in a row, I did forget about that in my preparation for the show, so I will be
scrambling
doing those on the fly. Last week, though,
it seems to work.
2-0, man. Yeah, you got
you
got wrecked last week.
I did.
So that'll be interesting. We don't really know exactly how it's going to go. What did we say we're calling it? The Blevins Stumps Death Blow?
The Blevins Bluffs Death Blow.
Bluffs.
Yeah, because the show, if anyone watches Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me on NPR on the weekends, they have a show called Bluff the Listener, the Bluff the Listener game. And if you're familiar with that, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing here. It is more involved with Reddit than that, but, because Jim doesn't subscribe to Reddit, doesn't really look at anything on Reddit. So, well, we'll get into it more when we get into it. Unless we're going to get into it now. Do you want to get into it now?
We can if you want to, because I think like one at the beginning of the show, one at the end of the show would be kind of a good deal. And then if you beat me, I can just go way obscure on Stump the Blevins and just scumbag you to keep it even.
All right, so the way this game works is I have 3 stories. Stories is probably a strong word to use. There are like snippets or things that could have happened or did happen on Reddit. I've got 3 things. 2 of them are fake that I wrote, and 1 is real. Jim has to decipher and choose which one of the stories is actually real, A, B, or C, or 1, 2, or 3. So, Jim, do you understand the rules of the game?
Sure, man.
Okay. Story number 1. In Banana Brawl, a guy got 5 consecutive +2/+2 bananas on one turn to get an unexpected lethal with his whirling Zap-O-Matic. That's story 1. Story 2. The one and only Kriparian was casting a live Hearthstone tournament in a venue less than 100 miles away from us. Less than 100 miles away from where we are sitting right now.
Okay.
And story number 3, a Reddit user posted a picture of a, air quotes, Hearthstone cake that his significant other made for him, but it wasn't actually a Hearthstone cake. It was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Blue Eyes White Dragon cake.
Okay, and I need to pick the correct
You have to pick the one that is real. One of these 3 is real. The other 2 were made by me.
Okay, Kriparian hosted or commentated at Good Games Con in Toronto. GG, well played, K-Fix.
Did you just cheat?
No, I knew it. I knew it. I'm in the Canadian Hearthstone community group on Facebook, and I knew it was happening. So,
all right.
I had Notepad on so I could like write little notes so I could remember what 1 was by the time you were done with 3. But
okay,
yeah.
Well, there you go. You got it. Jim is 1-0 in the Blevins Bluffs Death Blow.
Just for a minute, let's all do the bump. Yeah. So when I hit legendary with that joke, we were listening to "You Can't Touch This" by MC Hammer on accident because it was 90s night on the stream. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, and yeah, so was that segment, and it's bound to be more successful down the road because I'm not gonna know. Like, I don't typically know the news. Like, I need John to tell me what's happening in Hearthstone, so that way I can have a reaction to it. So this is a good game. I've got to try to, and I got to say, like, I was leaning towards 1 being probably possible, but my only thing was like, how many creatures is it reasonable to have had on the board, right? Because
well, I'm not going to choose stories that are just like, oh, this guy opened 2 legendaries in his Hearthstone pack. I'm going to choose things that are out of the ordinary, that are wacky, zany, so that it's like crazy. You never know. All 3 of them sound crazy.
I wasn't buying 3 for a second. As soon as you said the phrase "Blue Eyes White Dragon," I knew exactly what was happening, and I wanted nothing to do with it.
Well, you should have known that right when I mentioned Reddit and pictures of cake. You knew that it was just a shout out to my grudge that I have against everyone on Reddit that posts stupid pictures of cake and cupcakes that their significant others make for them with black mana symbols on them. You idiots! No one cares. Sorry.
I think that's 2 weeks in a row we got that rant, guys. I'm super excited about it.
That's the toned down version. I'm really just trying to.
Yeah, if you missed last week, that was 15 minutes of the show.
Day. Okay.
But we've been so light on news lately, we've been allowing ourselves to go on these rants. Because they're fun and entertaining, and you get to learn.
At least to us.
Yeah, we have a good time. We're not here for you guys, sorry. But anyways, yeah, we're going to be going on more rants and talking about goofier things until like a new set comes out or something crazy
Our
happens.
shows are pre-written every week.
Oh, the glory. I can't wait.
Black Rock Mountain. Shout outs to Black Rock Mountain. Just the greatest thing to ever happen.
Yeah, we'll just call that out real fast. Took us 2 weeks after that stopped for us to go back and like talk more about it because it was so glorious. All right, guys. Well, we talked previously about the Challengestone tournaments, and we told you we'd let you know about future ones that were coming up. And this one is actually over. So Challengestone, excuse me,
Challengestone 3.
Yep, that's
2. Challengestone 2.
Yeah, Challengestone 2 has completed. We have a winner. I won't tell you who it is because in the bottom of the YouTube video here, I'm going to link you to the VODs, and I'm going to make myself a note to remind me to do that. And don't worry, YouTubers, I'm going to upload the video this week. So already, just things are getting better all around. Right,
yeah, we got called out on your like random or your random night stream by Scott. Yeah, and he's just like, no cast this week. We're like, yeah, we did the cast. He's like, not on YouTube. We're like, yeah. Oh crap. No, it's not.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. So our apologies there, and hopefully that's nothing that you ever have to deal with again. But nonetheless, so Challengestone 2 this time around, the challenge was True Highlander, 1 class, 3 decks. So you say, I want to play Paladin, and you have to make 3 different Paladin decks that share 0 cards throughout the 90 that are chosen. So every card is a legendary in that sense, and they also can't be repeated from deck to deck. So you can't, for instance, put Nerubian Egg in all 3 of your Warlock decks. You know, you can't do that. It's got to be in one of them, and then the next one, 30 more unique cards. So definitely an interesting challenge, considering these guys get the rules and have like 20 minutes to think about it, and then 30 minutes to build their deck. That's a significant time crunch. I don't even know that they get 20 minutes to think about it either. It might just be, here's your rule, you have 30 minutes, go. And they do them ahead of time. This one was played out in Conquest format. I think the last one was Last Hero Standing. But Crip even puts thought into what tournament format is best for the rule. And he went with Conquest this time around. So, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you win with the deck, you don't play it anymore in Conquest format.
That is correct.
Last Hero Standing's the other way around. When a deck loses, you're not allowed to play it anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, I haven't really seen much of this myself. The VODs just became available, so it's not like this has been something I would have been able to watch. And I didn't even see it happening live once. So
I didn't see it physically happening on Twitch. I just saw people tweeting about it. And from some of the tweets I saw, it looked like people maybe not cheated, but messed up when deck building. I heard like 2 people use Doomguard in multiple decks. Like, I just saw a little thing. I mean, it's definitely not easy to not do that, right? Because like you're just so used to building your Warlock deck, and like, oh, I'm gonna have the Zoo deck. Let's put 2 Doomguards in, or like, especially if you're building it across multiple decks, it's not easy to keep your deck parameters in mind for this weird sort of challenge.
Yeah. Now these are pre-submitted, and I know for a fact in Challengestone 1 there was a system in place, and this was announced to the players at the same time as the challenge, that if you screwed up, and I'm blanking on what that challenge even was.
It was like even mana cost spells and odd mana cost minions. It might have been reversed. I think it was reversed, actually. It was even mana cost minions, odd mana cost spells. So
the way if you screwed up and selected something that was incorrect and submitted a deck with it, they replaced the card. You didn't obviously get to keep it, and they replaced it based on like, what class are you playing? Okay, you get 1 copy of the most expensive class card mana-wise that you can put into your deck. So let's say you were playing Priest and you had 1 mind control and it was legit, but then you screwed up and put an odd, a power word shield or what have you, they would slide mind control number 2 into your deck for you.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, I would think that, maybe they were talking about it like so-and-so registered 2 Doom Guards, and then, he didn't get to play them. Obviously, I wouldn't think. I don't know. I'll have to watch it and see, but...
yeah, I really don't know. I just saw people tweeting about it.
I thought it was really innovative that people, that they thought of that eventuality and, like, made that information public up front. I thought was really good, like how they were going to do it. It was really lent the tournament to me as something that was super well thought out and would probably be really interesting. It was like one of the attractive features to me. There's no eventuality they haven't covered. So hopefully that continued. Yeah,
Crip definitely thinks about like tournament meta sort of stuff, like pretty in depth. Like he usually thinks about things at the next level afterwards. So I'm not surprised that he came up with that, like that thought about that, like sort of caveat, but I'm definitely glad that he did.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to give away any information about who won or really any of the class information. We can talk about that in another episode if we want to. But this will give you guys the opportunity to go out and watch the VODs. They're really out so recently that I would feel bad telling anybody who won because they could have cared about it, not needed this announcement to know it was there, and still not finished watching this, the VODs. So, we'll lay off the spoilers for the time being and go from there. So another interesting kind of tournament news relates to the new brawls that are going on, and we'll talk a little bit about what this week's is. And remember, guys, me and John compete against each other in the Brawl format after every episode on Twitch, so hang out in the after show and you can see us do that. And we'll look forward to seeing you there if you're a regular YouTuber. But John, there's tournaments for these things.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, I think. Maybe.
What I like about it is it has kind of the Challengestone-esque feel of like, this tournament's tomorrow. So
really,
I just found out what this is. Yeah, you can go online, check the link in the description. I already have that note written. But there's a link to where you can go and register for these tournaments. A lot of information there on the site. The only thing I didn't know is what's the prizes. What's the point? I don't really know.
Probably, I would guess it's probably BlizzCon points, but maybe it's something else.
I would think that might even be the hardest one to get. But
yeah, it might be. But I mean, Gosu Gamers is pretty.
They do.
They're pretty legit.
They do like the
power rankings,
right? The rankings of the players that people follow and look at and care about. So there's probably something going on. I just don't have the actual prize to tell you. I couldn't find it. These tournaments are happening on EU and NA servers. Last week they did them on EU and had so many messages asking for NA server events that they decided to acquiesce and allow us to participate.
It's pretty sweet.
Right? There are 2 events.
Although, it doesn't really matter though, right? For most of them. Like, I guess last week's you would have actually needed a collection to build the deck that you wanted, but like the Ragnaros versus Nefarian, or this week you don't actually need a deck. You could just log on to EU and play, even if you don't have like a established collection.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But I guess just to cover the eventualities, you might as well allow people to do them on their home servers for the other weeks as well. But that's a really good point. I don't think I would have thought of that. I would have just been like, oh, EU server, never lucky, and just not done it. Now I can consider it. And it's worth considering, too, because NA server events are tomorrow and Friday, and the EU events are Saturday and Sunday, I believe.
Just run the whole long weekend of events.
I was thinking that, or, I can't make it during the week, so I'm going to do the awkwardly timed weekend event instead.
It's probably at a really weird time, isn't it?
Well, it's going to be sometime relevant to the EU server, so I guess that's another reason to do an NA one as well.
Yeah,
but
that is true.
They will be played out in best of 3 single elimination format, so kind of like how your playoff I don't know, your like pre-playoff, whatever that mess
the
was.
America's playoff.
Yeah. So it's something that you can just be out of very quickly, but in its own right, when it's something like an open and not something that like John qualified for, and it was gut wrenching to have be single elimination. If you make the early exit out of one of these things, I don't think that would be as bad as like making it to the last round and then not getting to like qualify for the Tavern Open championship or whatever they're gonna do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's single elimination best of 3 seems appropriate for this tournament for sure.
Yeah, I'm just always such a fan of double elimination. Like, it lets you kind of have that bad luck once.
Yeah, especially when you're playing with a deck with a bunch of web spinners in it, and it's like 100%, almost 100% RNG. Yeah, right. It seems nice to be able to do that, but at the same time, they don't, from like a tournament logistics standpoint, they don't want to run a 10-hour tournament. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and I've got to think even to a single elimination, like the amount of work that's required literally halves every round. So,
well, I think most of it is just updating the like online bracket that they fill out, which really isn't that hard, I don't think. I think a lot of the online services like Chalong or Chalongy or however you say it, those work pretty well and they're pretty easy. If you just get people to actually put their information in, it's really easy. You don't even really need to do anything except for as a tournament organizer. I mean, you don't really need to do anything except for address people's specific issues if they have like an issue like someone's cheating or something. I don't know. But besides that, like the players can just fill out their own bracket. I've never had a problem. Like I've never had anyone say that they won when they didn't and like try to cheat or anything. Like I just like fill in my bracket and then they confirm it or they don't. It doesn't really matter. You just move on to the next round. And like unlike a Magic tournament where you have to wait for the 50 minutes and then everyone gets paired at once, in single elimination the bracket's all it's all made out, so you can just, if people finish early, they can just play ahead, which is nice. So the tournaments generally go way faster, and that's also the case with double elimination. But you don't, obviously it's just less than half, right? Maybe, I don't know. It's at least at least half of the work. I think it's actually probably less than half of the time. But yeah, it's for something like this where it's probably not going to be super serious. I think I like the single elimination best of 3. It's just going to be a fun little thing. You pretty much are rolling your dice with your web spinners. At least this week, I don't think there's probably going to be a whole heck of a lot of edges that you can get over, pretty much anything or anyone. So you're pretty much rolling your dice anyway. There's no real reason to have the second elimination, at least for a week like this.
Yeah, I really have no adaptation to that for sure. Like I like I said, I like double elimination, but the goofy aspect and the randomness of the brawl definitely chips away at that a little bit, makes it not quite so bad.
Yeah.
So I've definitely been gonna be interested to watch these and see how the how the streams go, if they are streamed, if they gain popularity, and people will want to see them streamed, and that's where you get more sponsors, and especially a body like Gosu Gamers will be able to get themselves a good sponsor.
I feel like if they don't stream it, there's really no reason to run it at all. Like, why would they even run it if it's not streamed? I guess like
some companies believe in community outreach, John.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I feel like it should be streamed. No, it's not true. I'm just agreeing so that we don't go on a 30-minute tangent about how evil every corporation is. But but yeah, no, I feel like it should be streamed for a number of reasons. Like, it gives the chance. Like, this is probably going to be a bunch of random people, right? So it would give the chance to have some people. Maybe there's a couple of pros that are playing, and they get a feature match against a random, and that person gets on the stream. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I feel like they should stream it. At least like the top 8 or something. I don't know. I feel like, why are we as viewers, or like if we're not playing in it, why do we care about it at all if they're not streaming it? That's really what I mean by it.
Yeah, it does seem to me to like really placate to the casual player. So I could see that it's something that maybe doesn't get streamed and would still draw a crowd. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they do a good job of putting the word out that it's happening, but really the best way to do that is by streaming. So, like, to your point.
I feel like they gain a lot by streaming it, and they lose very little. So I feel like they probably should. I kind of hope they do, because I'd like to see how it plays out. More so than even like a regular tournament, because we've seen the same tournament play out 100,000 times.
Right.
Like I alluded to last week. It's like, and Trump is playing against Life Coach. We've seen them play 800,000 times, and it's the same exact tournament again. Okay, everybody, let's watch it.
This
is at least going to be a little bit different.
Right, inherently on a week, like, you can't avoid the difference week to week. So, and if you can get Crypt to cast it, it would just be like,
that's true. That this is actually, it definitely, this and Challengestone, and actually I don't know. No, we don't have to talk about it. The Archon team tournament, which kind of ties into what we were talking about last week with, like, why the heck are there teams in Hearthstone? Did you hear it all about this, Jim? The Archon team tournament?
You sent me a link to the information, and I really want to play in them. But, like, I couldn't even see where to sign up. So
No, not the Archon Open tournament.
Oh, then no, I haven't seen it.
There's an Archon team tournament that's actually, I think, going on as we speak. I was watching it earlier, but I fell asleep.
Well, talk about it. Tell us
okay.
What's going on.
It's basically kind of what we were saying isn't in Hearthstone last week. We were like, why are there teams? Like, who cares that you're on Team X or Team Y? Well, Amaz made a team tournament. I think I don't know how many players play on each team, but it's at least 3, maybe 4. I think it's 3. And each player brings 2 classes of decks, and it's a best of 11 across the team, both teams, conquest format. So you need to win 6 of 11, I think. Yeah, 6 out of the 11 against the other team. So it's like the match that I saw was Archon versus Nihilium. So it was like Life Coach and RDU and somebody else versus like Firebat and Zalay and those guys. It was pretty cool. I mean, it's still, when push came to shove, it was still the same tournament we've seen 100 times, where we're just seeing the guys from the different teams play against each other. Like, when the matches are playing, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's a team game or not. But it was kind of cool that they kind of actually brought the teams into it. I didn't think that from like a marketing perspective, like on the stream, that they really pushed that it was a team event, or that the teams really mattered at all. Like, all there was like a little insignia that said, it wasn't even an insignia, it was just writing that said like Archon, like Firebat, and underneath it said Archon in white letters. Like, it didn't have like a cool like Archon graphic or a Nihilium graphic or anything. Like, it was just like kind of a basic tournament like you'd see any other one. But I think that the concept was pretty cool in terms of bringing the teams kind of into Hearthstone in a slightly more relevant way, even if it's kind of like manufactured relevant, but it's still kind of cool. And events like this could actually, in theory, make me care about one team over the other, because you kind of see them as a team playing, even though they're not actually playing a team sport. They're just playing on a team solo against the other team solo, but it still seemed pretty cool.
It seems very relevant that repeat good finishes in these tournaments for the teams would really help to rank them, if they're all playing in it and they're all participating and bringing their best players every week. And Archon wins every week, or Tempo Storm wins every week, then it really helps define who the best team is, who the underdogs are. And listen, having defined good guys and winners and losers and all those things, really help make people decide who they're going to like. And
True.
So like you said, it might be a little manufactured, but it's
a step in the right direction for sure.
It's definitely doing what they need to do to make teams relevant. And
Right.
especially two of these teams, Amaz and Reynad, own the organizations that
Right.
finance two of the teams for Hearthstone. So
Yeah.
it really matters to those guys that people care about the teams. And
True. And in that regard, like I said, they didn't really market the whole, like, they're on this team very much. Like, I don't know. I guess it just seems like if you go to, like, any sort of sporting event, there's, like, team logos everywhere. And, like, everything is the team's colors and, like, all that sort of stuff. Like, the stream just looked like a regular stream, basically, except during, like, the in-between rounds where they're, like, showing the, like, team graphic, like, which team is up and which team... There was no real indication that they were even playing a team event. So I feel like they could... there's definitely room to open up, like, have the one side with, like, Firebat's picture, like, have the whole, like, side, like, colored, like, Archon, you know?
Yeah.
And have the other side be another color, so it looks like there's two teams playing. I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking it. I don't know. But, also... There's a team that I didn't know about. Maybe it just got made for this tournament. It's called Team Value Town.
Oh, God.
Kibler, Trump, and Dog.
Wow.
I'm rooting for that team.
That's the
Although I don't really like Trump. I don't really like Trump that much. I love Kibler, and Dog is a good player, so I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, I mean, that's like... With completely excluding Trump and his absolute lack of a personality... That's like the most personable team I could even like put together, because
Dog is really not that personable.
I don't watch his stuff much, but I mean he's like a character a little bit, like, you know what I mean? Like
I don't actually know if he is. He just seems like a normal dude that plays, from what I've seen of him.
Well, maybe I'm completely wrong, and then it's just Kibler being so charismatic, and he's really entertaining to me. I really kind of like him. So it's tough because I remember him from Magic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, I just picture
best.
him like winning the Pro Tour with a tiger skin on his back, you know what I mean? Like
that was John. I think that was John. Oh no, that was a different thing. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah, I think it was his
the
Pro
tiger
Tour
scarf. Yeah, it was the tiger scarf.
So
I was thinking of something.
He's definitely like a goofy guy that really is kind of outgoing to the community for the most part, and he's just so knowledgeable about every card game that ever existed.
I mean, he literally was one of the main designers of the World of Warcraft trading card game.
Yeah. So it was, it'll be interesting to see where that team goes. Team Value Town, you said?
Something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what they're called.
Does Trump? I mean, Trump has to run that team, right? Like,
I don't know if
he's the mayor.
In what sense they're? I don't know in what sense they're actually a team, other than that they signed up for the tournament as a team.
Okay,
so I don't think you need to be like an entity.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's what it was.
That's a good way for, if you can sign up for it, it'd be a good way for new up and coming teams to get some publicity as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. And John spoiled it twice, but this is this week's Brawl. And definitely the inspiration for the name of the episode this week. So, yeah, spiders have overrun everything, including your deck. Whatever class you play, your deck will be teeming with web spinners. So, I watched Peach streaming earlier, and he was streaming, like, as this got released. So, he gave me, like, my first introduction to it. And I really thought for, like, the first little while that it was just 30 web spinners and then whatever hero ability you want.
Yeah.
It was a little bit into his first game, though. It was Hunter versus Hunter, and the other guy, like, plays a trap. And it's like, oh, man. So
that's true. You have no idea what that is.
Right. He didn't get to choose it, and it was obviously explosive because they put thought into him, and there's good class cards in these decks for the situation. Yeah. I think.
Oh man, that's pretty sweet.
I think Peach drew like Bestial Wrath or something like that. Yeah,
that's kind of cool too.
Everything is a beast. So They have some interesting interactions for sure built into these pre-made class decks, but they are predominantly web spinners. And
yeah, that's really sweet. We, when Ruben was on the show, we talked about how these sorts of like how new modes could really like open up playability for certain cards, and like this is a perfect example of like, hey, Bestial Wrath is playable when literally your whole deck is beasts. I mean, you don't get to choose the card,
and they all death rattle to draw you a beast. Well, they're beasts themselves too, so yeah,
exactly,
it's nuts.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just a cool little thing. It's like, oh, all of a sudden, Bestial Wrath is playable. Maybe they'll make one where, what was the card? That Druid card, like Ferocity. Is that what it's called? The 1 mana, deal damage to a minion equal to your hero's attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like the poster child for like cards that aren't that good, but like are unique, right. So they could be good. So I feel like they could make something where that's good. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting interactions to it, and I'm excited to see what all the classes got. I want to say, I saw Peach poison seeds a board of 5 spiders, so he drew 5 awesome. Beasts and turned them all into 2/2s.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I like the way everything kind of seemed to play out. I really enjoyed. I was disappointed for a minute that it wasn't all web spinners, but then I'm like, no, because once I saw that they were smart about it and did some cool things with it, I really liked the idea of the mode even more with a couple class cards thrown in.
Yeah, and that's really cool that they did that.
I'm sure if you're interested in doing the tournament too, the open tournament, I'm sure the full class deck list will get out there and they will be published online. You can play these against friends, so there's no reason we can't let each other draw all 30 cards and write down exactly how many web spinners and exactly what else was in them. So that will be out there, and pay attention to it and look for the best constructed deck. And find friends to test with. If there's going to be tournaments for these things, all of a sudden there's a reason to play extra games if you want to do them. And
that's true.
Tweet at me if you find out what the prizes are, because I might want to get on them too.
Yeah, that's actually interesting. I didn't even really think about that. These Tavern Brawl Open tournaments actually give you a reason to play more than just the initial get your free pack, which I think was a huge problem for myself personally, and almost every single person I've talked to about it is like, I'm like, hey, did you play Tavern Brawl? They're like, yep, played it once, got my pack, and then I forgot that it was even a mode. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really blame you. It's not like super fun. I mean, it's like kind of interesting, like trying to get the best banana deck or whatever, and like the Nefarian versus Ragnaros thing was unique at least. So, but there really wasn't too much incentive to play more than one win, right?
Yeah.
And if it wasn't like overly fun, if you didn't particularly like it, like I played the Banana Brawl, I think I played it like 3 times after we played, and then got my pack, and then I was like, I really don't care if I have the best deck or not. If you're testing for a tournament, however, all of a sudden you have a reason to find the best deck, play it optimally. And I kind of like the formats where you don't have to make your deck. I don't know, I don't really like deck building too much, and I feel like I would rather just play the deck super optimally rather than have to like make my own deck. I mean, that's just a personal choice, but I think it's nice that it will probably switch up every week, or at least every couple of weeks it'll be maybe a pre-made deck, then make your own deck. I think that it's really interesting, and I think that with these tournaments that Tavern Brawl really has a fresh breath of life now.
Yeah, I mean, at least for the people that are interested in doing the tournaments, the vast majority of people are still going to have the same complaints. And
right, but I think that a lot of the people that I talked to that didn't like it were like, yeah, I really like, we're more on the competitive side, or at least maybe not competitive Hearthstone, but like they're not casual Hearthstone. Like a lot of the casual players that I talked to were like, yeah, Banana Brawl is sweet, Nefarian vs. Ragnaros is sweet, this is the most fun I have, I hate ladder, this is really fun. Those people I think are going to be happy one way or the other. I think it's the people that like kind of want to play ladder and like would rather just like grind out arenas to get rewards, that want some sort of incentive to play them rather than just playing them for the fun of it, kind of like myself. I think that this is going to breathe a breath of fresh air into those players for Tavern Brawl.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like we said, how much those tournaments will take off, because something like that being popular on Twitch and people wanting to play it and having a lot of entrants will really do a lot for the mode. And
absolutely,
it makes you think like Blizzard would be doing themselves a big benefit if they would like help publicize those events.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, in Magic, excuse me, there's like, you know, standard, legacy, modern, draft, sealed. There's all sorts of tournaments. You know, you tune in every week to Star City, and it's almost a different format every week, or there's a different format Grand Prix every week. So you're not watching the same exact decks over and over and over again. Even if the same decks in standard are the ones that are competing every week, you're not seeing standard every week. This is the first time, really. I mean, they tried to do arena tournaments earlier, but logistically they're not easy to do. This kind of makes it a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier to have something different. It's something different for, from a viewer's perspective to see every week, instead of saying, oh, here's the patron warrior versus control paladin matchup that you've seen 20 times. Here's the ramp druid versus freeze mage. We know the numbers here. It's a pretty standard match. Both players are playing both decks optimally, and the 63%er won. Okay, let's move on. Like that, that just gets boring after a while. Just seeing the same thing over and over, even if the players are playing, playing well and the players are good, and it still gets boring if there's nothing new. It just gets really boring, and this is like I said, a breath of fresh air for people for Tavern Brawl specifically, and maybe even for Hearthstone overall. Just something new to see.
Yeah, so keep an eye open for that, and if you're just joining us, remember as well, after the main episode is over, me and John will be doing the brawl against each other in the after show, so please stick around. I know there are a couple new guys in chat, and ZS Gaming in chat also has entered into the open tournament already, so good luck to you, sir. Please stop by next week. Let us know in chat, like talk to us. We'll let your input come onto the air to kind of give a first-hand account for how the tournament went.
Yeah, let us know how it went. I'm interested to see.
Yeah, and also you can, just to the right of John's face, you can see our email address, and to the left of my face over there is our Twitter, so feel free to reach out to us and let us know how that went in either of those ways as well. So this week we are going to be deck teching a definitely different style of priest than what you are used to.
This ain't your grandfather's priest deck.
No, sure. So yeah, we're playing Mind Blast. We're playing Holy Smite.
Wow! Yeah, Holy Smite's not out of the questioning.
We're Inner Fire.
Death Lords. Yes! Oh man, I'm so in on this deck.
Yeah,
I've tried to make this deck so many times, never worked.
I'm definitely trying it too, because me and John are both in the boat of like Patron Warrior is within our sights.
We need that Gnomish Inventor, gold Gnomish Inventor.
It's the worst.
The number of times I've tried to cut that card so many times just so that I don't need it for gold Patron Warrior.
I've cut it down to 1. So that way I don't need to get 60. I can only... I can
just get to 59 and delete the class, yeah.
Right. So hopefully this will help, although, they determine how much experience you get in each game. You know how they do that?
How?
Based off how many cards you draw.
Really?
Now there's a multiplier for winning and there's a multiplier for losing. But that's how they determine. So you can play a 3-turn game, and as long as you draw 30 cards... you will get the full experience bar.
Really?
Yeah, we need to look into like absurd draw combos and just like
we need to just cheat. Yeah, we need to cheat.
Because you can level a class in casual.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe me and you should just play draw gopher.
Should just grind it out.
Yeah. It's something to consider. I don't know. Is that win trading?
Don't care.
We're playing a custom format where you're not allowed to play a card until you have no cards.
It's only win trading, and it's probably only win trading in ranked, right? Like, what do they care if you win trade in casual? You don't even get gold for that,
right? Yeah,
I don't think. No, you don't even get gold.
No gold. And it doesn't count towards your golden hero portraits. So.
Yeah, It doesn't give you anything except for that beautiful, beautiful golden gnomish inventor.
That gnomish inventor, though.
We just need to make the like circle of healing. What's the 1/3 Northshire cleric deck where we just like draw a bunch of cards each.
Right.
Just get 2 Northshire clerics out and heal the whole board and draw our whole decks.
Oh man, was playing a mirror match this week, and I had
with this deck?
No, it wasn't an Aggro Priest deck. It was just
the other one.
Yeah, it was my Acolyte Priest deck. So we each have a Northshire cleric, and we both healed our minion, and then he plays a second Northshire cleric. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I made him draw like 16 cards that turn, so he milled like 10 of them, and I milled like 6 cards myself, but it literally, like, the whole game he was just behind because I ran him out of cards so fast. We were both struggling to suicide our guys, our Northshire clerics, but he pumped one of his with Avellan's Chosen, so it was way harder to kill. It was a really weird game, but it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love those games. The moral of the story here, folks, is never go full Northshire cleric. Definitely not in the mirror match. If your opponent has a regular way to heal, just don't do it. There's no reason to have to.
You're just going to get abused.
You're going to have a bad time. That's for sure.
Or a really, really good time.
Yeah, but not if you do it.
No.
I don't think it's possible. Anyways, that'll move us through to the Q&A portion of the show. So this is where we do Stump the Blevins. So if you guys do have any questions while we do Stump the Blevins, feel free to ask them in chat. And you could tweet at us if you want to, but if you're watching on Twitch, it's way easier on John. He doesn't have to go check Twitter. And he probably forgets to do that most of the time anyways.
I don't forget, I'm just not going to.
Oh, well, then there's that.
I mean, so. I guess I would. If you tweet at me right now, at UnleashTheCast, I will actually check it. So here's your chance to get me to do some actual work for once in my life.
If for some reason you just refuse to sign up for a Twitch account so you can't chat.
You're just watching.
Yeah, you just have to watch the show ASAP every week. That would be awesome.
Yep. That would be sweet.
I wouldn't even be mad.
I ain't even mad about it. I'm a little bit mad about it. But
since we do have some new people, John, we have to explain what Stump the Blevins is. They don't know.
Yes.
Stump the Blevins is where I name a card, okay, and John has to give us one of the sound effects, okay. So John, you can do the death sound for Acolyte of Pain if you'd like to.
Yes. Yes.
So he literally has to know the words, and he has to do a relatively accurate impersonation of the card. There are voices. We stumbled across Novice Engineer, I think it was. The 1/1 for 2 that draws you a card. He couldn't quite get his voice to a register.
I can't quite do that.
Female dwarf.
I hope you like my invention. Like, that's as close as I can get. I can't really get the like female voice. I can't really do the female voice that well, sadly.
Female gnomes are
female gnomes are a little bit too. I don't know. I just can't do it, sadly.
Well, anyways, he will very seldom do the death sound for a card, although I guess it's up for grabs, but they don't usually talk when they do it. And yeah, he will give us an impersonation of the card. I give him 2 every week. We do have a legendary again this week, Jen. It's definitely more in the realm of playability, but it is class specific, and I don't think you play the class very much, so we'll see. It's not the one we're going to start with. The one we're going to start with is a common from the base set. It is Argent Protector.
Oh, God, I know this. I definitely should know this. I've played this card 100 times. I can think of like what his voice sounds like. Oh, my God, am I going to lose again? Oh, this is so bad.
On a card, like, you can't even be mad about this one.
No, I'm not mad about this one.
You didn't like Mechgineer Thermoplug last week.
No, Mechgineer Thermoplug was a low blow. No one has ever cast that card. You play sound on the website, and it was the first time it's ever been played. Hold on. I'm literally imagining it being played, and I can imagine exactly how his voice sounds, It's oh god.
This is the best Stump the Blevins card I've ever chosen. It's that exact reaction. You won't give up. Because you know
No, I know it. I can imagine the card being played. It's like
you're not trolling like with Ancient Mage.
No, I'm not trolling with Ancient Mage. I literally
10 seconds.
I'm gonna kick myself in the pants for not knowing this. Yep, you got it.
3, 2, 1.
Not on my watch.
Not on my watch. Yep, that's what it is.
This is my responsibility.
And this is my responsibility.
I even knew I knew exactly his voice, and I knew the like meh, meh, meh. I just couldn't think of what the words were. Like I knew the syllables too. I knew the syllables in the voice. That one's gonna sting. Argent Protector is gonna sting.
We got there, boys. Congratulations, all the Deathblow fans out there. Go ahead and tweet at me with a hashtag secret package, and just to let everybody know you're on my team, as we're like channeling episode 2 now with our jokes. So we've come full circle.
Yes.
Card number 2, John.
Yes.
Neptulon.
Oh my god. I don't know the words. I know it's like witness the power of something, and then it goes but that's as much as I can give you. I don't even know what he says. I have no idea.
You're so close.
I don't know what the last words are. I have no idea.
Neptulon, look at him. What would Neptulon want you to witness the power of?
The power of the sea, or an ocean, or water, or something. I don't know.
Oh my god!
Witness the power of pure water.
I would have never guessed that. Pure water? Yeah, I don't know.
You could have done the attack.
Have a drink.
Have a drink.
It's his attack is I've got the beast in my sights.
Just an immediate snap BGH card.
Every single time.
That's absolutely true. Unless you played Dr. Boom the turn before.
Right. I've cast this card probably fewer. I've cast the card less times than the number of Murlocs it adds to your hand. So I'm happy with the amount of it that I got. I'm giving myself credit. I'm giving myself self-credit.
I want to give you a half a point, but
I'm taking the half a point.
That's just not how the game works. So 2-0 me. I'm going to assume that this other button.
3-0. You got the other. You.
Oh, that's true. Also, man, I crushed you
also
this
got
week.
the. Yeah, I just complete devastation. The tides have turned.
I got legend. You're like rank 12. I'm 3-0 in the thing.
Rank 8.
Rank 8?
Rank 8.
Oh man, I wouldn't have even guessed that low. I just assumed you were in the top 5 somewhere. I know you're not pushing for it this month. I didn't know you were pushing downwards on purpose though. That's and it's a new month anyway, so I guess it all never happened to begin with.
Nope.
But all right, I don't see any questions here for us this week, John. So we can just go ahead and wrap up the show. Our first sub 1 hour episode.
Ooh,
we actually got there. We've been aiming for like the 45 minutes to an hour mark for the last month, and just hour and 15 no matter what we do. So we're pretty proud of ourselves today.
Yeah, we didn't really go off on too many crazy tangents today, and we debuted a new game, which I am excited to do every week. I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to be scouring Reddit for stupid stories.
Oh my god, you're just going to get dumber. Like the longer we do this, just the worse your made up ones are gonna get. Like, you're gonna be reading like this legit headline, and then the other one's gonna be like, "Guy played card and then somebody killed it."
Guy played a card and then he died in real life. Yeah, which one's real?
That's what they're gonna become after you've spent 15 hours on Reddit. I'm pretty sure that's what happens to your brain.
15 minutes or so, yeah.
This is your brain, and then this is your brain on Reddit. I think I've seen those commercials on TV.
Yep.
All right, guys. Yep. Well, I am Jim, Deathblow Reed. That is John, the Blevins. This has been Unleash the Podcast, episode number 20, and we will see you guys for next week.
See ya!
Yeah.